probably wondering why I'd be making a video about repairing a leak on a copper joint. It's pretty straightforward. Just add some solder and it's fit. No. And I want to explain to you everything that's wrong when doing this and how to new in the plumbing industry is to be proud of here. Now, there's two ways to fix this, up like most plumbers do, or this video. So first off, I want to go through all the reasons, materials, and step-by-step instructions on how to solder, and it'll get you better familiarized after watching it. Oh, and also a card right here if you're interested. So the most or overheated, burns off and can't do its job anymore, which is the burnt form. You're now basically trying to suck. I have one pipe with flux on it and one without. When I apply the solder, they both look very similar after they cool to keep it from burning in order to have a proper leak-free joint. There's so many variables in this case, but a good indicator to go by to know if the joint is hot enough, though. If the solder melts and gets drawn in, that means that it's hot enough. You could also underheat a joint on the joint. So you'd need to circle around it to get it hot inside the joint. The flux, which is an acid, will do 90% of cleaning any oxides or greases that are already on the surface of the pipe. However, sticker glue or paint, for example, needs to be removed mechanically with sandpaper projects. It's a lot easier and it's a lot quicker too. And lastly, would be if you tried soldering with a bit of water in the pipe. With this particular problem. I'll also link this video at the bottom of the pipe. Absorbs most of the heat, but not at the top. So the top will melt. The solder need to be taken before in order to not run into this issue. So let's heat it and apply a bit of solder to patch the pinhole. By doing this, your only surface, there's water coming out the hole. It means there's a clear path from the back of the joint to the front of the joint. And as much as you try to get it entirely filled, you'd never be able to. So let me show you how it's purge on it if there is one. Undoing the water meter nuts and draining from there. Or by opening a faucet that most of the water has been drained out, start heating the joint. Well, you wouldn't want to affect the others while working on this one. My preferred way of doing this is to no need for it. Not rough enough to remove. For soldering, I noticed that when you apply flux in the fitting, it just gets pushed into the pipe. So there's no need to do that, as it'll just eat up the inside in time and cause more problems. The fit is still very tight for it to go back in by hand. So to put it back in, I'll use the same technique I used to get it out. But first, mark the pipe to make sure it goes in all the way, apply a thin layer of flux all around it like this, and get some locking pliers on the pipe to lightly tap it in place until it reaches the mark. Per this, you accelerate the cool down process, risking it as it's hardening, which are two things that may cause a leak. So put all the chances on your side and let the joint cool down on its own for around 1 minute or so, and wipe off any excess flux. You could actually see the moment where the solder hardens. It goes from you have it. Go ahead and test it out. If you did it right, I guarantee you it won't leak. With this method, you know that the joint is properly repaired and not just patched up like a lot of people do to save time and money.